Hi, folks. This is Sarah Marshall, your operations architect, and welcome to the second episode in the Leadership Dispatch series. We are jumping into leading ourselves, and specifically, we're in this episode going to talk about establishing our purpose. I want to warn you that there is some crude language in this particular episode. It's for a point, but if you don't want to hear it, please skip to the next episode. So, leading ourselves is where we start in our leadership process. Because if we can't lead ourselves, we can't really lead anything. So we want to get our arms around what it takes to lead ourselves. And specifically, we're going to start with what is our purpose? It's the age-old question we ask. What is my purpose? Why am I here? What am I trying to do? And for some people, they get that right out of the gate. But for most of us, it is an effort to get there. It is, we have to try things out. We have to sort things out. And I'm going to talk a little bit in this series about, or in this episode, about what it takes to sort that out. But it's not always clear. What we will do in this episode is not give you your purpose. You're going to have to figure that out. But what we'll give you is some tools to get there. First, starting with how you can source your purpose. What can you draw from to figure out what your purpose is? How do we get ourselves focused on what's important for our purpose and what's not important? And how do we anchor our purpose in a place that's a sweet spot where we continue to replenish ourselves so we can continue to serve that purpose moving forward? So, leading is not easy. Leading it is facing our own blind spots. It's facing others' behaviors. It's working in a fluid environment to accomplish things that are that may have looked clear in the first place, but we may have great difficulty in accomplishing them. All those things are going to be there, so we have to have a way to navigate that and unite others to our cause, even if it's just to our own individual purpose. So this discussion is about creating the specific set of objectives that we want to try to accomplish through our purpose. And in doing that, we're going to address our mission, our personal mission, so to speak. So in a company, it would be the mission. For us, it's our purpose. And we are assigning ourselves a purpose so that we know where we're headed and why we're doing what we're doing. We also, in future episodes, will talk about the elevating practices we can take on to help support that purpose. And we will also talk about how we want to hold ourselves to account for the things that we're trying to accomplish. But in this one, we're going to focus on purpose and start with specifically how we source that purpose. We can pull from external sources. We all do. We watch the world and we take what we think is best from that world. Most immediately, the values and expectations come from our family, but they come from our communities as well, whether it's the physical community within which we live, our block, our neighborhood, our city, our region, our country, or if it's in our adopted communities, such as our work community or volunteer organizations or extracurricular activities. All of those are communities that may have input that we might use in terms of establishing our purpose. They won't establish it for us, but they will certainly give us lots of feed. Could come from our religion and our religious practices if we have them, our political affiliations, and our vocation. We can also look at it from internal. What is our own personal values, drivers, and inspirations? What fulfills us and satisfies us? And what ambitions do we have? What legacy are we trying to provide? Regardless, or we can do it as a mixed source. We can pull it from both sides. Regardless, it will establish our point of view, the lens we look through at the world and how we're accomplishing things, and it will resonate with our state of being. It should feel right, and we'll get into that in a little bit later, but it should feel like what you're doing in your purpose is right for you, and it should move you to action. Again, we'll cover this a little bit more later. It may take some experimentation to refine it. First, let's talk about focusing our attention. And I have this bottle on my table to remind me that we only have so much capacity to give a fuck, so much capacity to care. So it's limited. It's a fixed source, just like our time is a fixed resource to use. Our willingness to care is also a fixed resource that we have to choose carefully. So if we have a limited capacity to give a fuck, where are we going to put that need to care? Well, first there's that big bucket of things that interest us. For me, I'm interested in the headlines of almost anything, so I'll take a little bit in on and be an inch or less deep on lots of things. There are some things that I'm more interested in, and I'll develop a general understanding. And there are some things I want to be an expert in, and I will develop a detailed understanding of that thing. And we have this large area of stuff that interests us, but if we stop there and this is all we talk about, we might have an interesting conversation, but it's not going to move the needle on changing anything. What do I care about? Those things that impact me, those I care about, or the causes I believe in. And those things I will at least have a general understanding, if not a detailed understanding. And if we stop there, I might be able to inspire you at a party about some of these areas. But we're still not taking action. We're still not moving anything as an agent of change. What inspires me to take action is where we're going to spend most of our time. So this one is what's a priority for me, how am I positioned to seize opportunities or deal with challenges, and am I capable, do I have the capabilities to take action in that arena? And this is where I'm going to spend most of my time. So if I take that limited bottle of fucks, I'm going to put most of them here in where I'm going to take action. Some of them here in areas that I care about. And I might have one or two out here in areas that interest me if I think they're going to grow. But I'm going to limit it to there. And I'm also decidedly not going to put my attention outside of this area. And I'll give you an example. Most people love reality TV. I hate it. I hate it because it usually shows the worst kind of people doing the worst kinds of things to other people, and I don't need that in my psyche at all. I want to keep optimistic and positive, and that's not where I'm going to spend my attention. So where do we want to spend most of our effort and energy? In what inspires me to take action? Finally, where do we want to anchor ourselves? My particular purpose, after years of just working through it and making sure that this is what it is contribution, is making a durable, positive difference out in the world. And it comes in three forms. One is that I make a difference every day with the people that I meet, that wherever I'm involved, that I leave a durable contribution that outlasts me, and that in doing that I enhance my own capabilities and capacity. This purpose I can apply just about anywhere, but if I'm not doing it, I'm decidedly not happy. My passions, on the other hand, are all over the place, and most of them have nothing to do with my purpose. Well, loving to watch movies typically doesn't get me anywhere on my purpose, but I love doing it. My understanding of politics and the larger contextual environment around politics might be somewhat useful. Nerding out definitely is, but not everything is. Where I try to find my time and energy is where my purpose and passions overlap, because that's something that's going to keep me going. And finally, there are the to-dos we have to do. Can't get out of them, don't really want to do them, but they can add up to help in my purpose in things like if I see my doctor or my dentist regularly, I stay healthy, so I have more of me to bring to the effort. If I keep my house clean, my brain is not cluttered, so that helps me to be more clear and crisp all the time. And the last point I want to make is, even if you have your purpose all sorted out and know what you're all about, you still need to stay relevant. So the way I interacted with my daughter when she was 5 years old is very different than how I interact with her now that she's 26 years old. I'm still engaging, I'm still providing guidance, and I'm still taking her feedback, but it looks very differently and takes a very different form. So you want to make sure that however you set up your purpose and your passions and your to-dos, that you remain relevant to the situation. Purpose, just so we put this all together, purpose is an act of discovery and realization. So you should treat your purpose as something that you are in discovery over. Even now, I continue to look at mine and see if there's anything I need to adjust. So if you're just unclear, you might make a hypothesis about what it is and then start self-interrogation. Now, what I mean by that is a lot of what you might be part of your purpose is unconscious. And in setting up your purpose, you're getting to know yourself better. So trying things out and seeing what you pull out of your unconscious and you learn about yourself in the process is critical. So that hypothesis, test, and adjust will help you get to your purpose more quickly. It's personal. Even though you may be sourcing it from a lot of sources, it's going to be unique to you. It expresses you as a whole person, warts and all. So it's not just to make you better or more productive or less socially judged, et cetera, et cetera. It is an expression, a true expression of yourself. And then that means it's reflecting the true you. And that kind of transparency can be very uncomfortable out in the world because you no longer have that mask of character that you typically have. And then it reflects on your behaviors, thoughts, and feelings, and they're all wrapped into that package of your purpose. Finally, it's active and risky. It's going to be a call to action for you. It's going to reflect in what you do. It's not just what you say, it's what you do. And in fact, what you do is more important because it reflects more on what you're actually putting your attention and effort to. And, it provides meaning expressed in action, and it takes courage because you're being transparent and you're being active, so everything you do could potentially fail. So this is when you figure out your purpose, this is the look and feel of it. So what did we cover here? Finding your purpose requires sourcing it, finding your strategic and actionable focus, and then that sweet spot to keep you moving. If you do it, that look and feel of purpose is going to be a little scary, but it will feel like it's right. It'll feel like the right expression for you. And it is the first critical component to leadership. If you want to read more about your purpose, you can read my article, What's Your Purpose, on my blog, www.operations-architect.com. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for listening. And as always, feedback is welcome.